In this episode, I'm joined by Olympic 5K runner John Heymans, a world-class athlete who's turned his passion for running into a personal brand that reaches tens of thousands of people. John doesn't just train like a pro, he's built a coaching program that translates elite knowledge into accessible plans for everyday runners. We dive into the reality of being a professional athlete, how he balances training with content creation, and what it takes to build a business while chasing Olympic dreams. If you're a creator, athlete, or just someone trying to juggle performance and purpose, this one's for you. Hey, John, you started as a hockey player. When did you first realize that you had a talent for running?
Hey Sam, that's a good question. I played hockey my whole life until I was 18 years old. And once I was 18 years old, my dream was to join the national team, but I did not have the talent despite like training every day at home and on the field. So instead of ending up in the second team, I wanted to still play competitive sports. And so I had to change. I was forced to change of sports. And I was wondering what should I choose for? And besides my hockey, I was also running sometimes to just maintain my physical shape. And every year I was competing in the 20 kilometers of Brussels, which is a half marathon race in the capital of Belgium. And my times were very good. I was ending up with like high level amateur runners despite training much less. So I was thinking, all right, I have quite some talent for running. And after my hockey, I'll just transition to running because I think I'm good at that. And that's
Mhm,
how I chose for running.
mhm. Okay, amazing. Now you're an Olympian, so that's quite a big difference from level that you started at. What were some of your challenges that you faced on your way to becoming an Olympian?
I think the challenges are pretty common with challenges that other professional athletes face. First, there's believing in myself because there's a lot of outside noise of people questioning whether I could make it or not. And if I had listened to what everyone else was thinking, then I would have never made it. So first thing is believing in myself. Second thing is, if there is a second thing, a big challenge, I'm thinking about big challenges. Yeah, making drastic changes in my lifestyle. I used to be a student where I had party lifestyle. I drank a lot of alcohol and I had to drop all of this, sleep early, train twice a day. And these were big changes where I had to completely change of life. And so my social circle also became more little and little because, because I had a party lifestyle. I was used to having so much friends, but these are also like just, these party friends that you only see during partying and these are not real friends. And so it was quite hard to see my social circle becoming more little. So I kept my real friends and all those party friends went out of my life. And so, yeah, there was a little side of solitary lifestyle, um, which was difficult in the beginning, but I got used to it right now. However, sometimes it's still a bit difficult because at high level there's like a solitary side of it, and so this were maybe two big challenges: the solitary side and the just the outside noise where I just had to believe in myself.
Mm. Yeah, it must be a difficult transition to go from a big circle to being on your own, especially during the hard times. What was it like um, training for and competing at an Olympic level? Like, what is something that us normal human beings don't realize what that experience is?
I'd say like there's something weird that once you get the title of Olympian, people suddenly think you're much different, but I'm not training much differently than there are a lot of they think I do things much differently than and just a regular athlete, amateur athlete who doesn't do it for a profession. But my life is pretty similar. It's just I have the luxury to not have to have a full-time job beside it. So I can just run and recover a lot between the trainings, and this recovery, having these naps, etc., that make a big difference. So it's just like a bit a luxury that I have where I can sleep, nap, have lower stress levels. And that's actually a big difference. But for the rest, like my training is very similar to an amateur. Just add some mileage, add a little bit of intensity. That's all, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. Obviously, you don't have a full-time job besides the running,
Mhm.
but you launched your own running program. You're growing your own personal brand. What inspired you to start with that?
When I started running full time 2 years ago, I knew that I thought I could easily live from sponsorships. It's what people think. You're a high level athlete. People, all the brands start calling you. I want to give you money, etc. This is just not true. Maybe in big sports like in professional soccer, etc., but not in running. It's a sport with very low money. So I knew I didn't had to rely on other people. I should not wait, but start to grow my own social media in order to become interesting for the brands. And that's why I decided 2 years ago to start growing my Instagram account, which now grew in 2 years' time to almost 100K followers right now. And now I see like I can live for my social media, which is super nice. Where
Mhm.
brands, they just want eyeballs, and having eyeballs through an Olympian is very nice. And so they contact me, and then I have to make a little choice of like, does this brand fit my personal values, which is super important. And then I work with certain brands like my sports nutrition brands, 60 Sports Nutrition, etc. And yeah, my tactic, so to respond to answer your question, my tactic was to grow my social media in order to become interesting for brands and being able to live fully for my sports without having the risk to maybe having to purely rely on my performances. Where a brand says, "All right, we sponsor you because of your performance, but if next year you don't perform, your contract is gone." While right now I'm a bit in the dip. I don't perform like now already for quite some months, but I still have a good income because of my social media.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And where does the running program fits into this? It's also because this is a part of self-sustaining you in your
Right.
running journey. Yeah.
And so beside my training, my social media, I also created a whole training program which is super qualitative. And so there, again, this allows me to also live professionally from athletics. With now the title as an Olympian, people get attracted more to be coached by an Olympian, which is super nice. And I also think there is a big value of being trained by an Olympian because I didn't get there just like that. I had to gain a lot of knowledge. I'm in contact with the best coaches in the world, with the best physios in the world. So I have a whole knowledge base, like a gold mine of knowledge, which I then put in a training program with videos, training guides, and also training, which is super nice. And then there, yeah, people can train for a marathon, half marathon, etc. And for me, it allows me as well to have income, which is independent from my performances.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm a part of the program as well, actually. So I quite know how good it is, but what was like the biggest thing before you started that you wanted to offer people with your program that you felt was missing in other programs?
So, in complete transparency, there are a lot of good programs in the world. Like it just depends what your personal preference is. Also, one training plan doesn't fit everyone. It's not like I I recommend people to follow my training, but I cannot promise that they will run a personal best with my training because everyone's physiology is different, and it's like otherwise every professional athlete would have the same coach, but different coaching styles fit different persons. So a lot of people run PBs, personal best, with my training program, which is really nice. So it just proves that the training philosophy I put into the training program is really good. Which is one big advantage already of following my training program. Like it is not from a random guy or girl that developed their own training methods. I didn't develop my own training method. It's just the method that works for all professional athletes that I transfer to the amateurs. Of course, not all rules apply, but I changed some rules. It's just a training method that works. One example is a lot of people tend to train too intense, especially if amateurs running 3 to 4 times a week. They tend to push every training, which is not really smart. For example, a marathon is 99% aerobic, 1% anaerobic. These are two energy systems in our body. The aerobic system is an energy system that works with oxygen. And so when you're training super hard, you're training in oxygen deficit. And then you're training using the energy system that you only use for 1% of your marathon, this anaerobic system. But a marathon is mainly aerobic, where you need oxygen, so you need to train in this zone where you still have enough oxygen, if you see what I mean. And so this means a lot of controlled training. That's an example of one of the reasons my training plan focus more on this aerobic development, which is more controlled training. Of course, there's intensity, but not super high intensity. And I see immediately that it helps runners improve much more. Also, they get injured way less because it's high intensity training that leads to the most injuries. So a lot of runners come to me, whoa, I used to be injured a lot, and now it's already quite some months. I follow your program and like I'm not injured, which is really nice. And yeah, and then besides that, what I give also is a lot of training tips from knowledge that I apply in my day to day. I put it in training videos, not like in informative videos or guides on nutrition, mental preparation, how to recover. These are all things I apply, and I wanted to share my knowledge. So I put everything like this information, like in training guides videos, which then I share also in a platform and the runner gets access to. So it's kind of a full package where they don't only get the training, but they also get like valuable information on everything besides training.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really nice, especially if I speak for myself. Like the nutrition guides, there are a lot of cowboys on the internet telling us you should eat this or you should do that. And with your guide, I have the feeling like it's very science based, and the fact that it's backed by a professional athlete makes
Yes.
me feel like, oh yeah, damn, I shouldn't follow all the other cowboys, but just stick to the real stuff that has been proven to work. So
Yes.
that's really nice.
Again, very important note on food. Everyone is so different on nutrition. So for some people, maybe another type of nutrition plan will work than the one I describe in the guides. So this is not like one that will work for 100% of the people. However, it's a very good one. If you read the whole philosophy behind it, it's one that works for a lot of people. If you try that one out, it doesn't work for you, could be, then I recommend trying another one. So I don't want to be like the guru that says this one works for everyone, you should follow only this one. It's just a very good one that works for a lot of people, but not for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I like the disclaimer. What has been your strategy to promote and grow this program so far?
Oh, I think it has been a real shitty one. Like um, right now, what I'm doing is I'm putting a lot of educational content on my Instagram, and I see each time I put a video with training tips. I put in the caption, by the way, I have a training program in my bio if you like these tips, and then people go buy my training program. But they only go buy it when they get this reminder in my video, which is below a chunk of text in the Instagram caption. So already a lot of people don't read the whole caption. So I miss, I think, on a lot of sale opportunities. And so right now I'm selling like a good amount of programs, which I'm happy about. But I think it has a lot more potential to be marketed way better. For example, with discounts, with maybe if you see, I'm sure, yeah, you know it because you're a marketing guy, with more lead magnets. I don't have lead magnets. So all those things I can still implement, but my main job is running. It's not being a marketeer. So I'm implementing all those things step by step. But right now, my marketing is really shitty, so I'm not an example.
Yeah, but I think It's actually quite good because it's very authentic, and the
Mhm.
fact that people still go and buy it means that you already have the trust
Yeah,
of your followers. So you don't
sure.
really need a lead magnet to convince people like, hey, I know what I'm talking about, or to make them more warm about your program. Um,
Mhm.
you've built it on Instagram, like your whole personal brand. That's like the biggest part of your personal brand.
Mhm.
What has been key to you to growing on this platform?
Not overthinking too much with willing to post the best video ever on every time I post a video. So just posting consistently and then the growth come over time. Like I expected it to my Instagram page to grow exponentially, but this exponential growth never came. It always has been a steady linear one. So the growth is really dependent on me giving value consistently over time to the followers and not overthinking if a video outperforms or underperforms, etc.
Mhm.
So what has been key is just consistently giving value to the followers and staying, of course, authentic.
Yeah. Uh, You have a videographer and an editor.
Mhm.
Did you start with them 2 years ago, or were you doing it all yourself at the beginning?
At the start, I had zero funds, so everything myself. And then I was busy every day with editing my videos on CapCut, if you know this editing
Yeah.
software. Yeah. And so I was on training camp and my training mates were like, John, it's annoying where we cannot talk a lot to you because between trainings you're constantly busy. And like, dude, in 2 years, I have to live. I want to be financially independent as a professional athlete, so I need to work on this training program. It has like I worked it for on like 1.5 years on the training program and growing the Instagram. So I was busy between trainings, constantly working on it myself. And then once it was published and my Instagram was growing, I got sponsorship through Instagram. I finally got funds where I could pay an editor for a couple of reels week, and then I could pay him more and more, and then also a filmer, etc. So now I have a editor who edits everything, and I have a filmer which I can hire 1 day a week, and then we can shoot everything we need to shoot.
Mhm. Okay, that's cool. And do you notice a big difference in terms of results, that you now have better results because the content is of a higher quality than previously?
It's actually the opposite right now. Like my growth is actually topping out, and like I get less and less engagement because I engage less in the comments because I don't have time to do it. So I'm a bit right now stuck in a moment where I have to rethink about type of content I want to post. And it's a good reminder that social media, like it's a lot about trends, and the content that worked 5 months ago that was booming doesn't work right now. And so, no, I don't see that working with an editor and filmer makes it work much better.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, because I post the same content. It makes me realize that despite the good edit, etc., I have to constantly try to rethink it and see what are the trends, etc.
Hmm.
So, no, it didn't help that much.
No. I, if we go back on what you previously said about the lead magnets, I think that might be a good case for you to well have a lead magnet, because right now you're kind of a victim of the algorithm. Like if they decide to not push you anymore, then your followers aren't going to see your content. But if you have a lead magnet and you capture the email of your follower, then you're completely independent. And when you have a new YouTube video or when you have a new Instagram post, you can send them an email like, hey, I just released this, and they can go and see it that way. So that might be something for the future you, if you
That's a
keep
good idea. And
having
if you
these
have other good
issues.
ideas, just always send me by message.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Okay.
to receive all the ideas.
Amazing. What advice would you give to other athletes or creators trying to build their audience, or trying to sell their own programs?
Don't expect revenue right away. It takes a lot of time. Focus on giving value. Because if an athlete will be, or a runner will be happy, or a follower will be happy, they will come back. It's as simple as that. And right now, even my training program is not yet ideal. The training plans are not fully personalized, so I'm working on really being able to personalize them fully, so give more and more value for the same price. And my main focus is really on making the product as good as possible, and the rest will follow. So focus on posting, on giving value on Instagram consistently, making my training program better and better over time, and the rest will follow.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that your training program is a one-time only investment, which is a very good thing to convince people like, hey, you only need to pay one time. I think it was like 99 euros. Was that the reason that you decided on a one-time investment and not a subscription model?
Yeah, right. That's exactly the reason. But I think I'll transition. I'll try a subscription model right now because I want to test out if then more people would be interested. Because I've received some messages from people that even if 90 euros on the long term is cheap, the just the fact that they have to invest it all at once is too expensive for some people just in running. And so I think I miss on a lot of potential at least because of that. So I will transition and try a subscription-based model and see if it works better.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
even if you like it, I will try something else.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was so interesting to see because you communicate with your athletes as well through an app, right?
Mhm.
So they only pay once, but you still, if they are still a client in 2 years, then and you're still chatting with them, it's quite nefast for your time, if that makes sense.
That's it. I think so. They pay one time and then they can follow my training and they can message me as much as they want. And I'm just counting on the athletes that they know that they shouldn't follow the training like for 2 years just for 90 euros and like chat me every day because then I'm paid like less than €1 per hour
Oh.
if we count all the hours I put into the athlete. So like most of the athletes understand that they follow the training program for a half marathon and marathon, or and then for another maybe half marathon. So they follow it for a couple of months and then they're happy. Some athletes try to squeeze the lemon and get everything out of me, and then I had to say sometimes to an athlete, dude, if you still want to follow me for so many years, like, could you pay additionally? Because
Mhm.
otherwise, like, it doesn't make sense for me financially to invest so much time into you. So it's
Mhm.
just like counting on the goodwill of the athletes, and also I'm super transparent. So yeah,
Yeah,
and people
yeah,
understand.
yeah, for sure. I think it's also like just common sense to
Yeah.
not bother you every 5 minutes. Recovery
Mm.
is,
But I'm happy. I'm happy when
yeah,
they
yeah,
send
yeah.
me messages. It's just if you pay 90 euros, send me message as much as you want when you're training for your next half marathon or marathon. But if you want to keep training with me like for 5 years, yeah, like you can't pay 90 euros for 5 years of training and messaging. This doesn't make sense for me.
No, and is doing one-on-one coaching like way more higher ticket? Like if they, for example, pay you 400 euros a month for one-on-one coaching, is that something you would be up for, or if it's not the right
Yeah, I did
timing?
one-on-one coaching before and it worked. Yeah, people were super happy with the one-on-one coaching, which is normal. And because I want to do it so well, I was putting so much time into every athlete that I was very limited. Once I had more than 10 athletes, I was like completely saturated because I was constantly messaging on calls, all those things. I was like, doesn't make sense anymore in terms of time investment. So I'm stopping the one-on-one coaching. I still have some athletes, like I think 3 or 4, because I was just waiting that some people finished their goal and then they left. But all the athletes that stayed with me, I keep them. I don't want to reject them. So right now I still have 3 to 4 athletes. And once they stop, I will not take any more athletes into the one-on-one coaching. So this is
Yeah.
something I stopped. It doesn't make sense in terms of time investment.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it means that you're doing a too good of a job if they won't don't want to leave
That's
you.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
so
it's
right
very
now, some
nice.
people left and they're begging me to come back in my group. I'm like, dude, you are a great athlete, but I just don't have the time. So find
Yeah.
another coach.
Okay, nice. How does a typical day look like? Because right now we're kind of forgetting that running is like your main, biggest, important activity of the day. How do you balance all of that, creating content, having your coaching, running, recovery?
It's simple. It requires a lot of time investment. So I'm just busy all the time. Like it has already been 2 years that I never had one weekend where I completely left everything and every day I'm busy. But it seems silly, but I like it. Uh, I like to grind, and maybe later when I will feel the need to have weekends off, then I'll take my weekends off. But right now, I just want to develop things and create a financially stable future for myself. And I also love developing things, and it's super rewarding for me to invest time in athletes. And then they come to me, they send, like, for example, this weekend, there were a lot of marathons around the world. I'm talking a lot about marathons because most of the people follow the marathon plan. And then they come to me and they thank me because they run a PB. It's super rewarding for me. So I just love it right now. And that's why I'm just spending time all day long in running my training. And besides training, developing my social media, my training plan, and my athletes. So it's just, um, uh, it takes all day, every day.
Yeah. Okay, but as long as it's fun to do, that's the most
And
important
I love
thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Right now, physically yourself, you're going through kind of a hard time. How do you mentally reset yourself after a tough race or a disappointing performance?
There are a couple of things. These are classical things that we tell high level athletes. It's like that high level athletes stay among them. It's like, um, your ego shouldn't be defined by your performance. Your ego is just who you are. And so if my self-worth and my ego was linked to my performance, I would be in a depression right now because I don't perform now for a couple of months. So I know who I am. My self-worth is not damaged by my performance. So that's one way to cope with it. I didn't change. It's just my performance that fluctuates. And right now it's going up. So it will go up. And getting my happiness from the journey, not only for the destination. So the journey is an everyday grind and the destination is a performance. If I only get my happiness from my time or my placement in a race, well, man, I would be so unhappy because most of the races, I think I could have done better, etc. It's what everyone that's competitive, everyone thinks that. As long as
Mm,
we're not first and we didn't run a personal best, we think we could have done better. Yeah, a couple of things is focus on the journey, not the destination. I love my everyday, so the fact that it's going less well, like, of course, it affects my mood a bit, but I love still the everyday training, so still happy. And I'm not defined by my performances, I'm defined by myself, who I am.
mm,
So yeah.
mm,
And then third thing, very important, sorry, is running is not my whole life. I have my social media besides it and my training program, my athletes. And so the fact that I can also focus on that keeps my mind also elsewhere and not only on my own training.
mm. Yeah, that makes sense. And how do you balance having your mind on a goal? Because I can imagine that's quite an important part, like knowing where you're headed, but still enjoying the journey, if that makes sense.
Now, can you repeat?
Like you have this end goal in sight, for example, the Olympics. I think your goal was to make the final of the 5K,
Mhm.
right?
Right?
The journey to that final 5K, don't you have every run that you're doing that goal in mind? Or how does that work?
Not really. Like, I don't think about too much about the long-term goals. because then it seems so far and like it's approaching so slowly. And then that's not really motivating. So I'm focusing on step by step and having all those. I'm focusing on the incremental progress and the intermittent goals, like one race at a time. Every week I try to progress. And every day for me, it's a win if I ate healthy, I slept early enough, and I trained well, etc. To be fully transparent, I'm human, so a lot of days things are going wrong. I ate not healthy enough. I went sleeping a bit too late. All those things. So it's already for me a good enough struggle to be super consistent every day. And that's my goal is to be consistent every day. And then don't think too much about the long term. This will sort itself out if I can control what I can control every day. And it is already difficult enough.
Hmm. Hmm. It's a nice message to hear somebody who's performing at such a high level say like, I also struggle with consistency sometimes.
Everyone struggles with consistency. It's the most difficult thing, I think.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Like focusing on it, consistency doesn't give you the dopamine rush that you get on social media. It's not linked to motivation. Motivation is like getting this dopamine rush and then you're motivated to go out. No, consistency comes from discipline, and discipline is hard because there's no happiness hormone or dopamine rush linked to discipline. Discipline is just the raw grind, and no matter your level, it's just difficult
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
be disciplined every day.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. Are there some habits or routines that you swear by even outside of training?
Like routines I implement every day
Yeah.
or
Or
something.
small habits, yeah.
Small habits. For me, what's quite important is muscle massages, deep tissue massages, but that's really specific.
Mm,
As a runner, I saw that it helps me a lot to recover. So deep tissue massages. And then what I swear by is, man, the sleep is the most important recovery parameter. But again, I'm not a robot, so I'm not
mhm,
sleeping early enough every day. And it's simple. There's no life hack I'm applying or something. It's really the simple things: eating enough, eating healthy, sleeping, taking care of my body,
mhm.
the naps every day. Yeah, that's something. Every day a nap of like 1 hour to get to the additional recovery. And yeah, that's it, man. The simple things make the big difference in the long term
Yeah.
if they are applied consistently every day.
Okay, amazing. What's next for you, both in running and beyond?
Next for me is the same life I had before the Olympics. It's I love my life right now. I'm traveling the world on training camp, meeting a lot of athletes, trainers, coaches, and physios, and I love this lifestyle. So I will keep chasing this lifestyle until I get bored of it. And yeah, my goals keep getting bigger and bigger because once I achieve something, of course, I want the next step.
Mhm.
So at the next Olympics, I'm looking for a better placement than I had at the last ones, which was place 11. And then besides that, I love growing the social media and my training program, etc. I'm also developing now an app. And so I want my training program to be fully integrated in a super user-friendly app, which could be super nice. And yeah, basically what I'm doing right now is just developing all of that for the coming years.
Yeah.
Nothing will come overnight, I think. So I don't expect my training program to blow up from one day to another. It has already quite a lot of success right now, but I want it to have much more success. And that's just being consistent over time again. Uh, if athletes are happy, they will talk about it with their environment, and then more athletes will come. And so like that, it will grow over time. And then I hope in 3 years' time at the next Olympics, yeah, I don't know. I have high dreams. So on my running side, I hope to perform super well at the Olympics. And then I hope my Instagram channel and my YouTube channel to blow up to be quite big training program as well.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll be all definitely rooting for you. Where can people connect with you and find you and your running program?
Right now, my running program, you can find it on my website, which is my first name and family name, johnheymans.com. There's also a link in my Instagram profile bio where you can find the training program. And then if you want to find me, there's just my Instagram page, John Heymans, or my YouTube, where I put some vlogs of my whole day if you want to see what my day looks like. Or I also sometimes put some informative videos where I talk about how to recover from training and a lot of like interesting topics. So everything running related, go to my Instagram and my YouTube. That's where you can find me.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, and thank you. Thanks to you.